Welcome to a short video from BAV Crushers. Today I wanted to not only show you the product range we do with the crusher buckets, but also talk through the features and what is right for your machine. Okay, so the first two in our range that we want to talk about are the BAV-CB 1 and the BAV-CB 2. Now, the reason I've grouped these together is because you could fit these on a range of machines. So the BAV-CB 1 we typically recommend for machines from 1.5 ton. This is a modification of design of the BAV-CB 2. This has been on our range since around 2010 with a few adaptations in the early stages. Now we have fitted this to some machines in the 1.9 ton range. However, it is quite heavy on that machine and the ram size does mean that the cycle time is a little bit slower. So with the BAV-CB 1, what we decided to do, we reduced the width down to 450 for the jaw. Still gives you plenty of room for your general rubble, but also with that, we were able to reduce the cylinder size by around 25%. That in turn gave us a little bit more stroke, but also kept the power very similar. So with these two units, you will have limitations of around the sort of curbstone size. It will crush it may just take a little bit longer, may not be as efficient. General rubble, bricks, blocks, things like that, they'll fly through. So the CB2, instead of being 450 on the internal, it's actually got 600mm wide on the internal jaw, around 150 in height. Every single one of these units, we use a auto reciprocating valve. Now we have changed this recently over the past few years. This is better protected than the previous ones we did, but it also sets automatically. So it is plug and play. This will cycle back and forth as soon as it reaches zero flow. Saves you getting achy hands, achy feet and the like. With the CB2, you will crush around probably 2 to sort of 4 tons per hour. We have had some customers achieving in the scale of probably 5 or 6. Will depend how you've got everything sorted, type of material and whatnot. The BAV-CB 1, we would expect to achieve quite a bit less. Probably in the realms of sort of 1.5 to 2.5 tons per hour. Well, like I say, if you can only get a small machine in there, it's not ideal at all for the job. So, flow rates for these machines, the CB1 will work better in that 1.5 ton range. So you will probably need around sort of 30 litres a minute. You'll probably get away with a bit less, but it will be a little bit slower. Now the CB2, this typically you will run this around 200 bar in pressure if possible. Some of the Bobcats, some of the zero tail swings, you will have about 180 bar. It will still fire on those, it'll be fine. With regards to flow, you will get some machines out there hovering around sort of 45 to 50 litres a minute. Whereas some machines will actually spec the pumps nowadays to about 60 or 70, and that will really make a difference in that jaw cycle. Moving on, we have the BAV-CB 5 and the BAV-CB 8. Now the CB 5, we did change the design on. This previously used to be the CB 3, but we made changes to try and increase the cycle time. So what you will firstly notice with these two units, instead of having one single ram, there are actually 2 cylinders at the back of these units. That's to give us a bit more power across that crush on these size of machines. But also due to the more flow that you've got on these machines, the cycle time won't be affected as badly. So the CB5, we recommend a machine of at least 4 tons to power this, up to probably 7.5 tons. Some machines, you may want to jump up to the CB8. The cylinders on this are quite a bit more powerful, but in turn, the cycle time, if the flow isn't up there, will be a little bit slower. So with the CB5, we tend to recommend this for machines of sort of flows of around 60 to probably 85 litres a minute. With the CB8, you're probably likely to need something like more like 90 to 100. So if your machine doesn't quite produce that, we would recommend fitting the CB5 just to keep an efficient crush. If you have got harder blocks, you could just jump to the CB8. So with all these units that we have, we use a tungsten carbide tip. This is often used in road planing. With the body that we use a Hardox 450 steel throughout the whole construction, meaning also we do not want any wear there if we can help it. So these will just easily pop out from the back of the jaw and you can insert them, and they're under £10 each. Every single one of our crusher buckets are manufactured with Hardox 450. We've never used anything else. Nothing else quite compares to it. The malleability, the tensile strength, and the high wear resilience means we've had these crusher buckets out in the fleet for over 10 years. Further to what I was saying about wear and product life, all of the pins we use have all easy access grease points to make sure they are well looked after. Further to that, internal of everything, we always use hardened steel top hat bushes. Not only will that prolong the life on the axis, they will also stop any side movement. I briefly touched on the production rates you will achieve on the smaller units. With the CB5 though, you will achieve in the realms of probably sort of 5 to 6 tons per hour of a crush rate. That jaw will move pretty fast with those rams. The rams in that CB5 are the same as the CB2, but we use 2 of those. When we jump up, the ram stroke does move up on the CB8, so that does hold some power, but it also does reduce the movement of those rams on small machines. So we do advise this for, like I say, what I said before, the 90 to 100 litres flow, probably on like your sort of 7.5 to sort of 8-9 ton machines really does work well. You will achieve around sort of 6 to 8 tons per hour with this, or crush into a 45mm, 50mm grade, as these all will as standard. Now what you will notice on the CB8 and the CB5, we have a couple of holes over here. You'll be able to remove the inside grid of these jaws, and removing this grid on the internal at the back here, held in with Caterpillar tight teeth, that will allow you to crush up to about 90 to 100mm in size, just in case you're doing any road trackings, things like that, when it doesn't really matter about the material knitting together as much. You will notice there's some more BAV products behind us here. We'll touch more on those on another day. We do have the CB12, so we do a unit up to 12-13 tons. And we also do the rotary screening buckets. Again, all the way down to 1.5 ton machines. Just because the machine is small doesn't mean it can't do the job that you need it to do.